What's up, dudes and dudes to the internet? My name's Seth. Let's cover the basics. Yes, I'm in the washroom. That's why it's all echoey and stuff. And, yeah, I have no hair. Read it and weep. Go check out my 100k subscriber video, because that's when I shaved my hair bald. And since then, well, GG. What I'm actually in the middle of doing is this, well, because this is kind of going to be a vlog video where I'm going to talk about, like, all these updates and stuff like that. And I thought that let's start out with showing you my new tattoo. So first of all, you might not be able to see it on the camera, but this whole part right here, this is actually a couple weeks old. That's why it might, hopefully the camera picks it up where it looks a little bit lighter, a little bit more faded. And then the fresher black, this actually I just had done like 2 days ago. So there's this all the way around to this part, and then all the way up over here. I'm not going to be doing something like that again. While I do want this pattern to kind of go all the way up my left arm, I'm not going to end up doing as long a session as I did with this part, because that session took about 4 hours to actually complete. You can probably notice that my arm is actually extremely swollen. And most of all, I'm not putting this video out because I like to kind of advocate like tattoos or anything like that, because I know that a lot of you are younger out there, and I know that there's a lot of parents that watch this channel with their kids, and you might not necessarily want your kids to get tattoos, right? But if that's what they grow into, well, that's their decision. But in any case, most of all, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's a part of who I am. And I'm going to be getting a lot more tattoos over the months, and I kind of thought that it would be interesting to walk you all through a little bit of the process of what ends up happening with them, because it's quite painful and intense. You can actually see on, let me see if I can actually show you on this one right here. You can kind of see, this is just paper towel by the way, that this is kind of the tattoo design, right? Because as you end up actually washing it, and you know, it varies with different levels of intensity on the tattoo. But with this one in particular, you have to pat dry it. Well, with all tattoos, you have to pat dry them. In any case, this one kind of peels a little bit. There seems to be a little bit of a process afterwards. So you can tell this is really, really fresh because of the fact that, you know, my arm is like so swollen. Like, you might not be able to tell the difference between my arms, but yikes, dude, it's pretty intense. Quite painful, too. I've gotten only a couple tattoos in my life. I had these on my knuckles. This is a couple years back. And then you might not be able to see it, but there's actually like a permanent eyeliner tattoo that I have kind of around my eyelids right there. That one's actually years old as well. And then just recently, I ended up getting this top half when I went to a tattoo place with Scarlett. She ended up getting her shoulders tattooed. And then just the other day, I ended up getting the rest of this done and kind of thought, okay, this guy's actually doing a fantastic job. I'm going to make the design go all the way up my left arm, right? And then eventually, down the line, I want to get, there's a different tattoo artist inside the same establishment, and he's going to end up tattooing kind of like a Chinese dragon up my right arm is the whole point. Let me just turn on some lights here while I go into this other little hallway right here. So there's a mirror behind me. But because like I said, I wanted to update you all on a couple other things as well. So speaking of Scarlett, I'm just going to say it straight, and I'm not going to get into it because I've actually tried talking about these things like in a video. Like, I've had 5 or 6 attempts at actually trying to have a vlog video talking about what's been going on and stuff like that. Honestly speaking, I don't really know how to sugarcoat it other than Scarlett and I broke up. Now, the quick rundown for those of you that have no idea who this girl is in the first place, I've actually been in a long-distance relationship with her for over 4 years. And then as far as being physically together, maybe like 5 to 6 months of visits. And I guess that was enough time for us to, like, actually being together, kind of develop the relationship and realize, you know, this is not working out. You know, there's a girl out there that's for me, but unfortunately it wasn't the one that I thought it was, right? Story of my life. So in any case, you know, I'm actually feeling really, really good about myself through all of it. I, unfortunate or fortunate, have gone through so many breakups in my life. Like, I'm one of those guys. Like, I'm a lover, right? Like, I just throw myself and dedicate myself completely to the relationship. And because of that, you know, normally from what I've seen from other people is they might close off and wall off during a breakup. I used to do that way back in the day, but now I've kind of gotten used to it, which is a very sad way of putting it. But in my own way, it's actually very positive, you know, because it's kind of like a relief, like, or not a relief, that's the wrong word, a release, because I feel more myself, and I also, as cruel as it might sound, it's like now I don't have this other person in my life, so I actually have a lot more time for myself. And more importantly, I've been spending all of my extra time working, and also just, you know, kind of relaxing a little bit more and just going out and visiting my brother a little bit more, and not to mention the tattoo and stuff like that, right? So there's been a lot of growth for myself and a lot of things that I've been working on. I actually also recently ended up ordering a newer wardrobe of clothes because a couple months back, maybe that was actually a year or two ago, I ended up going to the gym with my brother, and you'll see, like in my real old videos, I was really, really scrawny. You know, that's just kind of how I always was. But as soon as we ended up hitting the gym, it was cool and a crazy experience because we were hitting it so hard at the time that a part of the workout regimen was to specifically eat anything and everything that you could, because we were burning that, you know, burning all that energy like so quickly. Now, obviously, over time, you know, we did for a couple months, and it just, like, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months. It's not just a couple. But it ended up becoming way too intense to actually try and maintain that on top of all the YouTube and stuff. So we stopped. But I kept my appetite and also kept a lot of my mass. I'm not stone cold like muscle anymore or anything like that. Maybe in a couple years, because I do really enjoy like working out with weights. I think it's awesome. But until I end up having like my own full house or something with like maybe a machine or two for my personal gym, or if I'm just at a place that's kind of like near it, because I don't have the extra time to dedicate to actually like going to a gym like every day or anything like that, right? It's not a priority for me. So anyways, my whole point, spin right back around, was that a lot of the clothes that I have, which was very unique clothes that I ended up ordering online, I'll probably show all of it off in the videos to come, but I grew out of them. I ended up getting too big for most of my clothes, so now I actually have to kind of reorder them, because otherwise a lot of them I was kind of giving as hand-me-downs to Scarlett because they would still fit her, because again, like I said, like a lot of these clothes like were for when I was really, really scrawny, right? So now that she's not here, I don't really need them, and I'm noticing that I only have like 2 pairs of pants, and it's like, well, okay, time to update. So that's one thing that I've been doing. Speaking of clothes, the merchandise store, which I know that I kind of just all but stopped talking about, it still is in the process. I'm actually going to try and hopefully remember to send an email to the merch store guy, my dude, right? Most of all because I want to touch base with him, because I haven't heard back from him in a couple weeks, and I do still want to make a couple different designs and articles of clothing and stuff, because for right now, the merch store is actually already ready. The link is right there, and you can physically buy stuff from the store. There's only a couple options, though. There's a couple different shirts that just have like my YouTube logo and then the design that I made with the other guy, like with their designer. And then there's like a hoodie with that design, and maybe like a phone case with that design, or a a beanie hat with my YouTube logo, and that's pretty much it. It's just those 2 designs over different articles of clothing. There's a lot more that I want to actually do with that. I've actually got a lot of different ideas. Seasonal ideas was a good thing that I was talking about with like Coolby and Val and Critter and stuff like that. I thought that would actually be a really good idea, where it'll kind of be like an exclusive design that's seasonal. So it might like repeat every year, but it's like you might see like a chibi version of my Scythe Reaper character in like a Santa hat or something like that, right? Like I could picture that. So outside of waiting for a hoodie that I ordered from the store, that's when I'm going to end up launching the merch store, because I'm going to wait till I have a physical object that I can show to all of you in a video, and then not only launch the store but also explain how it works, because the store itself is actually pretty cool. I mentioned this before, where it actually kind of works with your YouTube channel. So it's like, if somebody is a fresh subscriber to the channel and they just subscribe, they're going to end up getting points that they could potentially end up using on the merch store, right? So you end up gaining points by subscribing, liking videos, and sharing and stuff like that. And then eventually all those points are going to add up, where I can then design, okay, so if somebody spends 1,000 points, maybe they get 10% off their next purchase or something like that. You know, I haven't worked it all out, but rest assured, I'm pretty sure, I guess I should double check, that even for right now, I think everybody's building up points for that store. We'll see what happens. So I guess, you know, it's kind of a way of the most dedicated fans actually being able to get some merchandise for cheaper. Then other than that, oh boy, I had family visiting. One of my cousins who actually lives out in Cali, he visited for a couple weeks. It was awesome. He was still here while Scarlett was here, because Scarlett actually only left like a couple weeks ago, and we kind of decided, you know, to break up together and talked about being friends, but I haven't really heard anything from her. Go figure, because it was her first like serious relationship. So honestly, I probably will never hear from her again. I remember when I was in that place. And then otherwise, you know, with my cousin over, it was really cool because he's very like active, you know, and I'm very active as well. Like I love hiking and biking and all that stuff. It's just I don't really like, I can't really do it alone, because otherwise it's just kind of like, oh, this is a waste of time. I mean, maybe one day in the future I'll take like the GoPro camera or something, but I don't know about that. We'll see what happens, right? Otherwise, yeah, it was really cool because we went downtown a lot. I went kayaking for the first time in my life, and that's where you may or may not have noticed on this arm, like you see the red, because I got major sunburn, dude. And just as a heads up, tattoo artists will not tattoo where you are sunburned. I kind of already knew that because the skin is too damaged for them to actually do. But thankfully, you see the line right there. Hopefully the camera picks it up. We'll see. But with this line being right here, it's because I actually had this other tattoo covered because I didn't want it to get in the sun. So it ended up working out perfectly because he ended up just going around the arm. And yikes, dude, the wrist, like right down here, that is the most painful. Even whenever I wake up, it's like kind of covered in blood, and it's like, whoa, dude. Because I've got this thing where even though I'm into alternative, you know, culture and stuff like that, like I have piercings and I'm wanting to get a lot more tattoos and stuff like that, my own personal pain threshold has gotten like intense over the years. Right as day one when I ended up getting this done, and it was a 4-hour session, like I said. When I ended up getting back home, like everything was all good, but then when I got back home and I washed it for the first time, it really freaked me out, dude, because as I'm moving my arm and it's not really settled into my skin right now, I can actually feel the ink tugging at my flesh, and it's such a trippy feeling where it really freaks me out in my mind, like especially on the wrist, and it's just, I don't know, I oddly enough, even though I'm into all this stuff, I can't really handle my own blood. Which I guess is pretty normal, but some people, you know, it's just no problem, like a surgeon or something like that, right? So I might end up getting, just on a side note, I may end up getting another piercing, probably right here. That's probably the last one that I actually want as far as a piercing is concerned. And then, again, as far as the tattoos, I want this design to go up my left arm, Chinese dragon on my right. I think it's going to look absolutely killer. And then maybe a couple tattoos on the back of my neck. I know I want to get my YouTube logo and just the YouTube logo in general, because YouTube's my life and I love it. I love what I do and I love being able to do what I do. There's not really that much else, I think. other than because my cousin was over and we were going downtown a lot. Like he would visit my brother at his job a lot, and thus I started to kind of realize, oh, I could visit Johnny a lot more, because otherwise we don't really get to see each other that much because he's working like a full-time job just like me, and I've been getting pretty far behind on my recordings. All of the Trove stuff has been doing just fine. We got all the tutorials and everything like that, and over the next couple days there's going to be the Trove subclass videos, like individual ones. Pardon me. And then there's still a couple indie games, lots of indie games that I gotta try and record tonight, but at the same time, I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break because there was a lot of content on Trove that I had to rush record because the test server is now offline, right? And, well, that's why I had to kind of rush record it all and, like, really get on the ball with, like, getting these videos out as the priority because I wanted everyone to see all this stuff, and it's Trove, right? It's awesome. So other than that, yeah, there's not really any big major games that I'm planning on playing on the channel. The Spider-Man Homecoming, I didn't even realize it's actually coming out in 2018, even though the movie itself is awesome, dude. Like, I love that new Spider-Man movie. It's sick. Check it out if you haven't. I'm gonna be seeing it again with my brother on Tuesday. What else? Oh, man. It was most of all, it's not that I did much different than usual. It was just kind of, I was a lot more active. There was actually a day where we ended up biking, and it was like an all-day bike. I don't know how long it was or something. It was like 7K or something, or is that a lot? Is that a little bit? Because if that's only like a little bit, then I guess it was 70K, but I don't know bike terminology or distance and stuff like that, right? In any case, that was a lot of fun. I might end up doing that bike solo if I ever end up getting a free day, because I love biking, man. Like, it's actually been a lot funner than jogging. Because actually very early on in the channel and stuff, like, I would jog every day, and I was actually getting really good, like, cardio. Like, I could, there was a point where straight up I could run nonstop and not even get winded, right? Which I'm not at that level anymore. And biking is just so much more satisfying because you get to pass, like, so much more terrain and get to so many different areas, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, everybody. Oh, and then last but not least, that's right. I ended up actually getting another call from YouTube. So I'd gotten calls from them before in the past where I had like a kind of a partner manager, I think is what they call it, right? But then they ended up actually discontinuing that YouTube Creative program. But I guess now it's back, or maybe it's that I'm at a higher tier or something. I'm assuming it's because my views have been up, just because all the Trove tutorials and stuff like that. Not to mention just more people watching the channel in general and more subscribers and stuff like that, which I don't mean to bat it off like it's nothing. It really does mean the world to me. Like, seriously, the fact that my channel is continuously growing is just, like, it's insane. Like, thank you all so much for the kind love support that you've been throwing me lately. It's really meant the world to me, especially with, even though I'm very mature in how I'm actually dealing with this breakup, it does still mean a lot to me to know that I have all of you here that got my back. It really just makes me feel like I could get through anything, right? So I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of that. And yeah, so anyways, I ended up getting a call from YouTube a couple days ago, and I guess they're going to be like my partner manager. I don't know if it's a more permanent thing or a temporary thing. It was kind of just more of an introduction. One thing that I thought was really cool, I don't know if this is exclusive to me or if everyone technically can get this done, but I could actually, if I was in San Fran, I think it was San Fran or San Jose, I'm not exactly sure where YouTube's HQ is, but he said if I actually send him an email, he could actually set up a tour of the YouTube building. So I think that would be really, really cool. Maybe I'll go and visit there one day and like ask them if I can film it. I think that would be awesome. It's like breaking into YouTube, right? But I thought that was so cool, like it's just the way that YouTube has started to treat me as I've been becoming a bigger channel. Like, it's like they really do a good job is what I mean to say. Not so much when you're a small time channel, then they just kind of poop on you and throw you to the side. Like, let's be real here. But it's been nice lately not having to deal with so many technical hiccups. So anyways, he ended up kind of just getting to know my channel, and I kind of just told him like the summary of why I started doing YouTube and stuff like that, and you know, kind of a little bit of the behind the scenes as to the work and the parts that I'm struggling with as far as YouTube are concerned. And then he said, you know, he's going to take a look at all of my analytics and stuff like that and take a peek at all the statistics and all that junk. And then he's going to be calling me sometime next week to help me, hopefully, to understand a little bit more of it, because I'm not one of those people, like, when, you know, I kind of just do YouTube. I kind of just do my videos. I'm not really, like, trying to do anything specific to make the channel grow other than just playing to my strengths. And, you know, with the YouTube analytics, everyone's always saying how useful it can be to kind of monitor, like, where your fan base is and what people enjoy about the channel and stuff like that, so that you can hopefully end up, you know, making better videos that more people would enjoy. But I don't know anything about the analytics. Like, I suck at that aspect of YouTube. So I'm really excited to hear what he has to say and hoping that he can end up explaining it in a way that I can understand. The last person that I talked to, her name was Sarah, I think. And she ended up giving me all sorts of fantastic tips as far as YouTube is concerned. Like, it really helped me to kind of step into the next level, you know, like, and kind of move away from the annotations and move into all the YouTube cards and stuff. It was just, the way she explained it was just like, oh, okay, I get it now, because I'm kind of that type of a person, right? So anyways, yeah, I don't want to drag this video out longer than it needs to be. We're already at, 21 minutes. Yikes. Is anyone even going to watch this? No, but I wanted to have this as a longer video where I wasn't really worried about the time and just was kind of hanging out with you dudes and dudettes, because I wanted to just kind of let you know what's been going on with me personally and, you know, with the channel and everything like that. Otherwise, in all honesty, folks, like, I do want to say, everything is doing awesome. Like, seriously, it's fantastic. You know, the fact that I can legit, I know I just keep repeating this, but really, the fact that I can do something that I love and that I'm passionate about and actually be able to continuously do that without having to look for a full-time job and manage it on the side, it's not like I would ever quit YouTube. Like, I'm not doing YouTube for the money. Lots of haters and people that don't understand ambition, I think, like to hate on people that become successful on something that they are passionate about, you know, because I've been seeing more so, maybe 10-20% more of people saying like, oh, he's doing it for the money, because I've been more open in my videos talking about how I'm making a full-time professional living from doing YouTube videos, right? I know that most of you already know I'm not doing it for the money, because otherwise, you know, I've been doing YouTube for years without barely making anything. And again, you know, it's like, even if I had to get a full-time job, it's not like I was going to stop doing YouTube, you know? It's just now I don't have to, and that's awesome. And, you know, like, that's where I was able to get the Vive. And at the moment, you know, thankfully I'm not paying a mortgage and stuff. But anyways, well, never mind all of that stuff, because that's just grown-up talk. Thanks for watching, everybody. Very much appreciated, as always. Hope that you have a fantastic day. Thanks for lighting mine up, and I hope that in some small way, mirror right behind me, that my videos have affected your lives positively. I'm going to go watch a movie now while I upload stuff. Sayonara and stay epic.